Fighting evil by the moonlight, winning love by the twilight, never running from a real fight. He is the one called Werewolf by Night. Hey there, Anthonix Maximus. Sorry I took so long to put up a video. I've been fighting this really awful cold. But I really did want to discuss Werewolf by Night. Why? Because sometimes it's nice to review a good movie. And by review, I mean just give my initial thoughts, because this is Anthonix Maximus Matinee. And I am indeed Anthonix Maximus. That's right, Disney has released Werewolf by Night just in time for Halloween. And excuse the lighting, it seems a little bit dim because somehow I lost my ring light. So I have the big light and the little rectangular light. But we'll power through. Alright. Yeah, this is actually less of a movie and more like a special. A TV special. In fact, I would say this is the MCU equivalent of a Halloween special. I mean, it's no Paul Lynde Halloween special, but it's still pretty good. And I would even really say it's part of the MCU. I mean, it is, but it stands alone. There's nothing there that references the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's just a little standalone adventure at only 54 minutes. So it's an easy watch. It features a man by the name of Jack Russell. Now, you're thinking, wait a minute, they named the lead character after a dog? Don't look at it that way. Look at it as they're honoring an action hero. For me, I'm pretending they're honoring Jack Burton from Big Trouble in Little China, played by Kurt Russell. So, Jack Burton, Kurt Russell, mesh it together, you got Jack Russell. Jack Russell is played by Gael Garcia Bernal. I wouldn't really say this is an origin story. I would say this is just a random adventure, because it seems like Jack Russell had previous adventures before this. I would say this film is sort of a mix of The Hunger Games and The Most Dangerous Game. The film follows the death of Ulysses Bloodstone, who, interesting enough, his character was created by, get this, considering the title of this movie, Ulysses Bloodstone was created by Marv Wolfman. It's his funeral, and his decree upon his death is that all the hunters, including his estranged daughter, must look for actual bloodstone. And this is all being headed by Ulysses' widow, Verussa. Elsa is the estranged daughter. They all meet together to hunt for the bloodstone. Basically, your hunt and last man standing wins type of story. And this film also has Man-Thing. That's right, you heard it here. Man-Thing. Da-da-da-da. You make my heart sing. Sorry, I don't know why I'm more in a singing mood. I mean, I already have a bad singing voice, so I don't know why I'm really more in a singing mood when I'm sick. There really aren't any bad characters in this. Every character was enjoyable. The Verussa villainess, yes, it's your typical evil stepmom thing, but she just kind of hits the right pattern for over the top. It's as much over the top as you want it to be. Imagine Universal Monsters, that level of over the top, where it's acceptable because of the atmosphere. Gael Garcia Bernal, Jack Russell, it's clear he has fun with the character. He's not your typical leading man. He's gonna be more of your reluctant hero, but he's there for a mission. Not for the bloodstone, but to save his friend Man-Thing. It's an easy watch from the beginning to end. There's really not much you have to follow. I think I laid down all the proper information. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to skip ahead to the spoilers. If you have seen the special, or if you have not seen the special but don't care about spoilers, stick around. If you haven't seen the special and you do want to see it, we'll talk more after you skip to about here. Listen, guys, I really don't know how to fill in the spoilers, because what I gave you in the information is pretty much spoilery in itself, and I'm not even giving you anything more than what we've seen in the trailer. Gael sells the role. Elsa is actually entertaining on her own. I would say this is more of her film rather than the actual Werewolf by Night's film. She's there because she's kind of reclaiming the bloodstone like it's an inheritance. The Bloodstone, it's kind of a vague thing, but it's supposed to be very powerful. But monsters cannot touch it, even though the Bloodstone is attached to the Man-Thing. Which I really liked the Man-Thing, because the Man-Thing is actually, I just discovered this by seeing a photo of it. It's not CGI completely. It's actually some animatronic as well, which I think is really relieving. I really like when the actors are able to work off of a physical thing and not just some guy dressed up in green tights. We don't see Ulysses being alive. He's actually just dead at this point. But I did like the gag that his body is used as an animatronic to explain the plot. Fun fact, my dad and I actually discussed how we would have our funerals if we can just be wild about it. I say I want to be lowered into the casket on wires with spotlights on me like it's some kind of a weird magic show. My dad's idea was much better. His idea is you go to his wake and you kneel on the pad thing, the kneeling pad, but it's really a button that triggers the body to prop up. A recording from him will say, "Hey, thanks for coming to my funeral. Grab a beer." That was actually my dad's idea. So Ulysses doing the whole animatronic thing kind of reminded me of that. They go out, they hunt. Jack Russell finds his friend Ted, but he's been transformed into the Man-Thing, which is the Marvel equivalent of, I guess, Swamp Thing. I'm not really understanding the full context or ability of Man-Thing. I think it's more closer to, like, Cthulhu. I know someone can explain it to me later. The idea of Man-Thing is actually pretty cool. I always thought he was cool. I remember they were actually trying to have a Man-Thing movie in the early 2000s. Actually, no, they did have it. It ended up being a TV movie on the Sci-Fi Network. They go out and they hunt each other down. They find the stone. But it turns out Jack Russell can't touch the stone because he's indeed a werewolf by night. And that's not all right. They get caught. The evil Verusa's stepmom is making Elsa stay in a cage, basically wait for Jack Russell to turn into a werewolf. Man-Thing comes along, saves the day, and that's pretty much the way it breaks down. The Bloodstone is powerful, but Man-Thing kills Verusa just by touch. It's a quick watch, really. Like I said, I enjoyed Elsa because I liked her attitude, but I also liked her ingenuity. When they were caught up in the mausoleum, she was actually digging through her aunt's tomb to find weaponry and stuff. I actually liked the fact it was 54 minutes because I don't think it would do as well if it was like a full theatrical movie, but considering the context of the holiday and what this movie is, I think that's just perfect. And I'm pretty sure all those characters will come back in another form in some other MCU property, but I'm sure it'll be treated like they did Daredevil and She-Hulk, meaning they're brooding and dark now, but when we see them again with someone else, they'll be all jokes and smiles. That's the MCU now, jokes and smiles. I really don't have much to say. I mean, my version of spoilers to this movie is me just telling you what happens. And at 54 minutes, that's not much time. So let's go ahead and invite our chums back. See you in a bit. Hey, welcome back. So, as I was telling our spoiler friends, the friends that actually took the time to watch the movie, well, guess what? Before seeing this, I really didn't have much knowledge about Werewolf by Night. In fact, my idiot brain, I actually confused him with another hero. Because I was excited when I heard the news. I'm like, oh my gosh, Werewolf by Night? That's J. Jonah Jameson's son, John Jameson. And I remembered, and as I was telling our spoiler friends, they were working on a movie for Man-Thing. So I mentioned that, but also I failed to mention they were working on a movie for Werewolf by Night for years. And they were mentioning this around Spider-Man 2. Well, I got things mixed up. I got my wires mixed up because they were working on a movie for the John Jameson character from Spider-Man 2. But my brain processed it as he's Werewolf by Night. I was wrong. I kept confusing Werewolf by Night with Man-Wolf. And boy, did my Marvel friends put me in my place. This is Jack Russell, not John Jameson. So yeah, I'm sorry. I got my wolves mixed up. But simple watch. Hopefully be more, even if we don't get Werewolf by Night or one-man thing in solo actual theatrical films, I would be down for seeing them show up in another property or just do like another Halloween special. That's okay with me too. I like the fact that this film special was a self-contained thing. I actually liked the makeup aesthetic of the said Werewolf by Night because Jack Russell actually has that patchy hair on his face, kind of like, sorry to bring it up again, but the Universal monster Wolfman. It's simplistic, but it works very well for him. So you could say this guy has gone from werewolf to is wolf. I died a little bit on the inside saying that. So I am going to call it, and I'm going to say, let's give this movie 8 out of 10. And that's high praise because it's going to be tough finding something that'll be 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. So because it was an easy watch, because I didn't have an issue with any of the characters, yeah, sometimes the pacing can be a little bit slow, but you know what? It goes with the atmosphere. The pacing is slow in the beginning just to establish the plot. That's what I'm saying. A fun little Halloween spin to it. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm Anthonix Maximus. Thank you for watching Anthonix Maximus Matinee, and looking forward to doing some more stuff this month. I have plenty of projects coming up, so let's hope this feels better soon.